Good afternoon again, Michigan. They will not stop us. Sorry about that. My stream was completely cut. We're going to be making a mass exodus from Facebook because we're not going to tolerate this nonsense anymore. I get halfway through writing post, and just because it might be about COVID-19, there's some error on Facebook and my entire post disappears, and I have to do it all over again. My posts being completely deleted off my page, and me having to go and get them from somebody that's already shared them. I've had enough of this absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. And this is what we're fighting against on a regular basis. Is the absolute suppression of the people in general. Because that's who we speak for. Is the people that have had enough of not what only is going on in our country, but what is going on in our world right now. Australia is under their first week of the New World Order. Go and check the Australian news. Go find out. And just like you're going to see today, like I was just talking about before they shut me down again, do not let anybody, yourself, anybody that you love, get these needles stuck in their arm. Do not let it happen. We are not guinea pigs. We will not stand for this. If you go to my page, you will see the constant, consistent things that are being found in these vaccines, the things, the atrocities that are happening to these people. Hospitals being bound up with not the unvaccinated, but the vaccinated. And it's because I talk about things like this on my channel, sorry, that my viewers sit at 0 right now. Because I hardly doubt that anybody even gets a notification from Facebook that I go live. That's why videos like this, and Elliott Truth, and Logic's View, and Us Against Media, we have to push these out. This is the truth, people. This is the absolute truth. We give you the truth. It ain't going to be CNN. It ain't going to be Fox. Because as you'll see, Fox is... A lot of people watch Fox. Fox is right-leaning. But it's still all about corporate greed. It's still all about the puppeteering. That's why you have to go to independent outlets like Australian News. I'll be finishing watching a video about the reality of what happened in Wuhan after I finish this live with you guys. These are the important things that we have to get out there to people. We have to show people what they are trying to bury, what they are trying to hide underneath of everything that's going on. Do a little bit of research. Look into Croatia. They have 50% vaccination rate right now, and they have stopped. Their president has stopped everything. They're staying to the standards of the UK. And the UK is hovering right around 57%. And they're okay with that. Not Australia. Australia, you ain't going nowhere in Australia unless you got a vaccine card. Nowhere. You want to exercise? You want to go for a run? 10 kilometers. You want to go around your house and go for a run? 10 kilometers. You want to go to a restaurant, a bar, a gym, a casino, anything like that? You better have a vaccine card. This is nothing but reminiscent. People are not being slaughtered. They might be with what's being put into their bodies. But this is nothing but reminiscent of the Holocaust. And prior to, where people had to be marked. People had to be marked with the insinuation that they were a negative being in society if they weren't, or if they were. And these are our own governments doing this to us. Wake up, everybody. I have just absolutely had enough. Vaccines or no vaccines, We have to be together. It's not a time for, do you want to get this thing stuck in your arm or don't you? It's time for everybody to be on the same page and know the reality of the world and not play these games that they pit us against each other in. We've had enough of all the nonsense. And they won't accept the fact that we know what they do. They won't accept the fact that it's over, so they push harder. And they force us to do things. Australia, they were the first ones to enforce high gun control. Why is it any surprise that they're the first ones with mandated vaccination cards? It reminds me of the roots of Australia. Australia was originally an exile spot from the UK, from the Crown. Prisoners used to be sent to Australia to live out their sentences there. And that's almost what it seems like it's gotten back to over there. I reference Australia so much because it is bad over there, everybody. It is bad over there. They are wrestling people to the ground and putting masks on them. Do you understand how absurd that is? That we have people in our world being wrestled to the ground and forced to put something on to mark them. The masks, the vaccination cards, any reports, it doesn't matter. It's still a mark. Getting these needles stuck in your arm, you're really marked. Because you can't argue with data. And especially when you have half of our medical force in our country that want to save people's lives the right way, and they're not allowed to do so. They will lose their jobs. They will be sent to the higher-ups and lose their jobs if they give or prescribe anything that isn't set in the agenda. Why? Why? And then on top of that, we praised our medical staffs across the country when all this first started. But now you want to persecute them, forced vaccination. If they don't, they'll lose their jobs. And they're not allowed to treat people the way that they want to treat them on a humanitarian level because you want to make it all about takeover and you want to make it all about the political gain. I am so fired up against these people. And everybody else should be too. Literally killing people. And that's not even being spoken on based off of what is in these vaccines, in these injections. That's being spoken because somebody might not want to do that, and when you force them to do that and they die because you forced them to do it, you're the one to blame. You made them choose possibly between not being able to support their family, not being able to have their livelihood and exist and be a sovereign being because you wanted to put something deadly into their body. That's on you. That's your fault. You gave them no ultimatum to be able to provide for their existence. When they die, that blood is on you. And I have just had enough. Europe right now has banned the Moderna vaccine for anybody under the age of 16. But yet, it's being absolutely pushed here in America. Why? Why are we the ultimate guinea pigs? Think about it for just a minute. Why are we the ultimate guinea pigs? Why is their country stopping vaccination and stopping these injections altogether? And meanwhile, we're piling up booster shots. Why are they so prevalent on these injections? More people die from the flu every year than are dying from this virus. Do you know what a coronavirus is? The majority of coronaviruses based off the common cold. You're going to have a sore throat. You're going to have a runny nose. You're going to cough. You're not going to feel good for a while. But you take some tea, you take some honey, some chicken noodle soup, maybe a few antibiotics, you're going to be feeling good. You don't need these needles stuck in your arm. We don't have to abide by these things that they're trying to make us do. And we don't have enough people standing up and drawing their line and saying enough is enough. But maybe after I play this for you guys here, we see bits and pieces everywhere. We see what happens to people. We see the things that go on with these vaccines. But I think it might help to have Leah coming in. Allegedly, they're making a vaccine for kids under 12. Absolutely sickening that this new vaccine is being put into children. It's as if they're conditioning the future of our nation to do whatever they tell us. This is my niece. It almost brings me to tears right now. This is my niece. And this is how she has to see this world. She's 15. And this is how she has to grow up and see this world. My children are younger right now, but I grew up helping take care of my niece and my nephews. And I told them the right way as much as possible. And I still do to this day. Because they are our future. And that's why we do this. That's why we fight as much as we do. That's why we do all the things that we do. Is for people like my little niece here in the comment section. Because they're going to be our future fighters. They're going to be our future. This is what we fight for. And we can't give up. It takes all of us to know what's right and to know what's evil in this world. Go take a few looks around, especially like I said in Australia. Australia is an absolute mess right now, and their news itself will call it the New World Order. We're in the middle of this, people. This is not going away. Inside information says that China is supposed to have another major outbreak of a variant in COVID-19. Let's see what happens with that. They need a second round to make us submit even further. Stand up to these people. Even people my niece's age. There are students all over this state, all over this country right now. They're standing up to their schools and saying, we're not doing this anymore. If you're one of those people that are sitting at home wishing you could do something, wishing you could help in some way, do it. Especially, don't let high school kids, teenagers in age, show you how to stand up for ourselves. We need everybody's help. This is a fight for all of us.
Coming up on about 15 minutes here for y'all. I want to play this video for you guys so that in one compilation, and please get it out there or go, I'll have the link in my description for this video after it finishes. Get this out there. If you know people that are okay with these vaccines and okay with the future for their children the way it looks now, show them these things. My Streamlabs just went completely black. And we're back. Leah again. Exactly, it's almost like an apocalyptic age in a sense. I never thought any of us would have to endure something like this. Forcing us to do what they want us in order to test who we are like we're animals. And that's exactly what it is. They want to know how far they can push society before we break. And we're not going to break. We're going to stand strong. And we're all going to stand together. I seen an article yesterday of vaccine supporters and Trump supporters, people against vaccines, but there were liberals and Trump supporters uniting under the cause of not having these jabs, not having these injections. And that's exactly what we need. This puppeteer, this puppet, or like Logic likes to call him, this puppetet that sits in the Oval Office. He's meant, or claims, to be the president of unity. And all we see is more division every day. That's the least of that old geezer's crimes. I do feel bad for him. He's definitely got something going on, and they just push him up there as a puppet on a regular basis. He don't know what's going on. But I'm going to leave you guys with this video. And like I said, I want you to share it out. I want you to get it to people that might not have this information, because this is what it's all about. We're not meant to condemn these people. We're meant to inform them. We're meant to show them. No matter what it is, no matter if it's injections, masks, New World Order, freedom of speech, Constitution, it doesn't matter. We're always meant to inform people. You don't gotta have a show. You don't gotta be on lives. I just informed a couple fine gentlemen yesterday about the governor's race. Right here in my own neighborhood. There was information that they didn't know about Garrett Saldano and James Craig in the race for governor. And I gave them some information. It don't have to be no big spectacle ever. You always get a good feeling when you're giving people information that's going to help them in the future. And really help them, because this is the way we live. These are the people that judge how we live our lives on a regular basis, and we hold the power of who sits in those seats. They want to put these things in our body, and don't let them do it. Don't let them get you. Really? Okay. Okay. When Facebook hit my Streamlabs, they did something. And this is what I face on a regular basis, you guys. This is what I face on a constant basis. I fight so hard all the time to get you guys this information. I have posts deleted. I have my reach stemmed on a regular, consistent basis, but it doesn't matter. I will try to get this loaded up. I will try to either get this posted to my page for you guys to be able to view and get out there to people. Or maybe I will be able to give it to you guys tonight live with Christina Caramo. Big night tonight. Christina Caramo will be joining us. The best candidate for Secretary of State that we could hope for. She is right there. I was just at the public hearing down in Detroit with her this past on October, what was it? October 1st. We were down there and we absolutely handed it to them. They barely wouldn't even give us their names, and it was just absolutely amazing. And Christina was right there on the front lines with me and Logic there, and a full room. Could have been a lot more. When they do a public notice, it tends to not be so public about these events. But she was there with us, and it was absolutely fantastic to to know that this woman truly wants to represent us, that she is truly there on the front lines with us, and that's what we want to see in these candidates. That's what we want to see. If any of you guys are watching, any candidates at all, if you're seeing this show, that's what we want to see. We want to see that you're going to do these things before you get into these positions. We want to see that you're going to do these things before you are a governor, before you are a representative. You can say that you're going to do them all you want. Another favorite of mine is Mr. John Rocha. He is absolutely fantastic. If wherever these lines may fall and you end up in the district with John Rocha running for your representative, that's your vote. Good man, good solid structure, very godly man. He is your candidate. If he ends up in your district, you better make sure you vote for him, because I have got to know John over a period of time, and he is absolutely fantastic. Another one being Melissa Carone as well. I've had them both on the show before. They are both very boots on the ground, out there with us, doing the things that need to be done. Not to mention that both of them, along with Angela Regas, another hard-fighting, patriotic woman, have gotten this DiPerno Pulitzer Act written up, and this is a citizen initiative that we are that's being put through progress that we all can take part in. We can all garner signatures for this petition, no matter where we are. I did the math. It takes roughly 6,000 people per county. 6 people per county. Each one gets 1,000 signatures. We can make this happen. We can absolutely make this happen. On a county level. We break this down to a county level. Yeah, we got to get the whole state, but we need 6,000 signatures per county. We get that on a county level, and we get what we want. Not to mention our corrupt Secretary of State, who had her dirty little mitts in what was going on anyway. And now I'm actually able to bring this back and give you guys this video. So I hope that you guys will be able to take this information and show this information to other people to get them informed. It's still their choice, but they need the correct information in these situations when they're not getting it. And I also want to give a shout out to this channel on BitChute, Fearless Nation. If you guys don't go on BitChute a whole lot, go over there, get into BitChute. They have a much bigger library than YouTube does. YouTube has become very structured and very manipulative in their rules and their constructs of what they do. BitChute is a terrific alternative, and Fearless Nation, I've watched quite a few of their videos, and they're a fantastic channel over here as well. So I'm going to leave you guys with this video, and I hope that you all can get some information out to other people.
We're talking about the White House trying to combat the vaccine hesitancy.
So I cannot help the willfully obtuse who don't want to get the vaccine because they're scared or they're watching Fox News.
And I really encourage people to get vaccinated.
So since this is going to be a major news story any minute now, what happened is that Sonny and Anna both
People on
apparently
Fox
tested
News
positive for COVID. No matter how
encouraging
hard
people
we
to get
try,
vaccinated.
these
Another
things happen.
lie.
They probably have a breakthrough case, and they'll be okay, I'm sure, because they're both vaccinated up the wazoo.
ICUs are filled up
Vaccinated
right now
up the wazoo, but they're out sick.
with unvaccinated dumb fucks. Okay? Get
Please
your
pardon
fucking
the
vaccine.
language
We have
in
a
this.
pandemic.
Vaccinated people who ultimately get infected, that they are generally without symptoms or minimally symptomatic. However, it is clear that they are capable of transmitting the infection.
I just watched Tony Fauci and CNN and Fox tell me that people with the vaccine, vaccinated people, are now spreading the coronavirus.
Even fully vaccinated people, if infected, can carry high viral loads and potentially be contagious.
A couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, I was, yes, I'm vaccinated. Yay, a little sticker. Yay, I'm vaccinated. Be a hero, be vaccinated. I went from being a hero because I'm vaccinated, and now you motherfuckers are calling me a super spreader?
I'm not looking up all of the ingredients.
People are
in the
waking
infusion.
up to
I am
the
sticking out my
insanity,
arm, and I am taking
love
the infusion.
every person that does.
So I went and had the second, and then it got really bad. And within about a week, I had lost. My hands didn't really work. The vaccine took my immune system and just shook it around again.
There's an expression, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'll talk over Bill Nye. Facebook is probably more than
Despite
likely
being
going to
fully
try to shut this
vaccinated,
down.
He still
Please
became infected.
get this out
This was
to
supposed to be
people
his
that
return
need
to the
know
ring
this.
after more than a decade.
I mean, what are the chances of me getting COVID?
Among 469 cases in Massachusetts, 74% were fully vaccinated.
This really, really kicked my.
I got one. Michelle got one. People you know got one. And now you can get one too.
Comedian Bill
Guarantee
Maher
your
won't
kids
be
didn't
taping
get
his
one.
HBO program tonight after testing positive for COVID-19, and that's despite the
But
fact
yet
that
there's
he is
other kids
fully
around the country
vaccinated.
having heart attacks.
effective and legit.
So to prevent clinical disease, to prevent symptomatic disease, not necessarily to prevent
Let's get these
infection.
viewers
That's a
in here, you
secondary
guys.
endpoint.
Facebook stems the absolute crap out of my post. Share this to people. Get this to people. Get these people over to my channel so I can inform them of what's truly going on in our world. I appreciate every single one of you so much. Beyond what you can comprehend. You guys help me grow what I'm doing every single day. Thank you guys.
And I went and
So
had
much.
the jab, and I got a little green, like a library card, and I thought, well, that's what I'm going to show the people when I get on the plane.
If you are fully vaccinated, according to the CDC, you no longer have to self-quarantine or get tested before or after you travel.
Fully vaccinated grandparents can fly to visit their healthy grandkids.
But what about all the fully vaccinated people who get the breakthrough infection? Can they pass it on? Could they pass it on to their children? Could they pass the virus on to older people, especially more vulnerable people with underlying health conditions.
And that's exactly the point that we made in our guidance. So yes, they can with the Delta variant, and that
The
was the reason that we
hypocrisy
changed our guidance
is
last Tuesday.
unreal. That same woman just told you can go and visit your grandparents, and now they're talking about the Delta variant.
Of people
You can't.
vaccinated are getting immunity. That means 14% are not. How's that possible? Well, occasionally a virus cell can slip past the goalie.
Love that part.
Breaking news, the province's
Gotta say it, 'cause I absolutely
pivots. The Ford
hate
government
The
changing
View.
course on proof of vaccination.
As of today, Ontarians will need to provide proof of vaccination before entering certain high-risk indoor settings, including restaurants, bars, casinos, theaters, and gyms.
Does anyone question why the government does not want to release any of their research? Is anyone questioning why Israel their studies are finding that natural immunity is 13 to plus times more
Sweden
effective
did
than
it
the bees?
right.
Is anyone questioning that?
These
Herd
settings
immunity.
were chosen based on the
Quarantine the
advice of the
sick
Chief
and the
Medical Officer of
elderly
Health.
and let the
This is a
people go
temporary and
about their
exceptional
lives.
And you think it's just going to be movie theaters, restaurants, gyms? That's the first step. They are going to take it off.
It's a time for unity.
They are going to take it off. And we've allowed it.
Step
We
by
can't
step.
blame the government.
Step
We have
by
to blame
step, this
ourselves.
is what's happening.
We are so compliant with what the government says that once they dangle a little carrot over you.
If everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine?
Listen to this woman.
$100 savings bond in West
Listen,
Virginia.
how are we gonna
$10,000
incentivize?
scholarship in Lancaster, California. Free beer in New Jersey. Donuts from Krispy Kreme. Shake Shack fries in New York City.
You just think of this when you think of vaccination.
President Trump says he's
What a
taking
bunch
an
of
anti-malaria
tools.
drug as a precaution against coronavirus, even though American health authorities have warned against it.
They will shut down
news from President
and
Trump
fire
revealing
any
he puts
doctor
the
who tries to
anti-malaria
go
drug
against the agenda.
hydroxychloroquine, a controversial medicine that Mr. Trump has touted as a potential treatment for coronavirus.
You can have a fatal arrhythmia, which means an irregular heart rhythm, which will cause your death. And your death will be instantaneous.
A major setback in the hopes that the drug hydroxychloroquine
Instantaneous death.
could be used as a possible treatment for
Pretty
coronavirus.
sure
A clinical study indicates the drug
there's
touted by
reported
President Trump
cases
does
of
not work and in
13-year-olds
fact may have a high death
dropping
risk.
dead
A
of a
large
heart
new
attack
study links
immediately after these
hydroxychloroquine
injections.
and chloroquine
You
to
wanna talk
a
about
higher
immediate
risk of
death.
death in coronavirus patients.
3 of the Lancet article's authors have now retracted it, citing concerns about the quality of the data used in the study. The 3 authors said the company which provided the data, Surgisphere, would not transfer it over for an independent review, and that they can, quote, no longer vouch for the veracity of the primary data sources.
For the past few months,
They
I've taken
pick
care of
their
over
people
350
that they
patients.
want
We've not
to
lost one.
analyze these
Not a diabetic,
samples.
not a somebody
and
with high blood
specific
pressure,
samples
not
sent
somebody
over.
with asthma, not an old person. We've not lost one patient. And on top of that, I've put myself, my staff, and many doctors that I know on hydroxychloroquine for prevention, because by the very mechanism of action, it works early and as a prophylaxis.
America's
we see patients,
frontline
10 to 15
doctors,
COVID patients every day.
very good
We give them breathing treatments.
organization
We
to
only
pay
wear
attention
surgical
to.
masks. None of us have gotten
Very.
sick.
Yesterday, I was out here with America's frontline doctors. Breitbart live streamed the video from a news conference. That video had 185,000 concurrent users and over 17 million views. Late last night, Facebook removed the video, and Twitter and Google, YouTube have been removing and censoring us since then.
It was her speech, flanked by associates on the steps of the Supreme Court, that catapulted
Get
gold
this information
to fame
out
or
to everybody.
We're here because we
Email
feel as
it,
though the American
text
people
it,
have not
get
heard
it off
from all
social
the
media
expertise
onto
that's out
another
there.
base.
President Trump
Get it out
retweeted
there.
this video, which
This is a
social media companies later took
compilation
down,
of
of them
what we are up
promoting
against when it comes to
unfounded
these
cures like
injections.
hydroxychloroquine.
This is my new enemy.
I'm telling you,
This is
COVID in its tracks.
the one main thing that I will
That
continue
story
to fight
went
against from this day
viral
forward.
July 27th. The next morning at Fox 26,
someone tipped me off, this doctor's from Houston. This is our local story. And we also, everyone noticed how it was getting censored across social media platforms like we'd never seen before. We were all stunned by that.
Why would they not want this message to get to the American people, especially if it can save lives?
We're here to bring you that news. Hydroxychloroquine works.
There's a concerted effort to keep the safety and efficacy of hydroxychloroquine away from the American people, and we need to speak up. All of us do.
The audience was craving answers.
These doctors
and then they're saying
are
that
telling
the news
you
is not covering it at all. Does that build
not
trust in the news?
trust
No, that
these
alienates
vaccines
the
as
viewers.
opposed
Tonight
to
we're hearing
what
from
you
a
can
rural
do
doctor
yourself
treating Oklahoma
to
patients
cure
who are
yourself.
overdosing on the drug meant for livestock.
It can be dangerous.
Dr. Jason McEllier saying patients are packing southeastern Oklahoma emergency rooms, taking ivermectin doses meant for a full-sized horse, believing false claims it could fight COVID-19.
The ERs are so backed up that gunshot victims were having hard times getting to facilities where they could get definitive care and be treated.
Now, the story originated at a local TV station, but was widely shared by media outlets and amplified by reporters, including MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, who shared it with her 10 million plus followers. The hospital put out a statement saying, quote, although Dr. Jason McEllier is not an employee of NHS Sequoia, he is affiliated with a medical staffing group that provides coverage for our emergency room.
I'm sure a lot of people remember this statement that was released from this hospital in Oklahoma that this guy hadn't worked at this place in over 2 months.
Due to complications related
fake
to taking ivermectin.
News. You want to talk
this
about
includes
fake
not
news?
treating any
There you
patients
go.
for ivermectin
But where's the fact
overdose.
checkers on that?
You say, oh, you're worried about the FDA approval, you don't know what's in the vaccine, but you'll take a drug meant for deworming livestock? Really?
Right there. From the American Medical Journal.
An antiviral.
American Medical Journal. This is the American Journal of Therapeutics. Pay attention to these people.
Oh, not only are we saying that there's no
Do
evidence,
not
it
turn
works.
on
It goes
your
beyond that.
TV
We
and
actually
take
know
your
that it
medical
doesn't
advice
work.
from these people or from Google. Look at this stuff yourself, everybody. We have to be critically
be sure to
thinking
call if you have
on
taken
these
this drug
issues.
that doesn't treat COVID, but could put you in a coma.
No meaningful evidence that ivermectin is effective in COVID patients.
Its increased usage has only led to a substantial increase in overdoses after a push by some on the far right.
Right here, pushed by the far right. Here's the article on ivermectin. Notice the National Library of Medicine. What's sitting behind Fauci? Apparently he's
New York's
right-leaning,
governor
right?
says FEMA gave the state 400 ventilators. To that, he said this.
This one will really get you guys.
When I need
Pay attention. Pay attention to this.
New York's governor says FEMA gave the state 400 ventilators. To that, he said this.
What am I going to do with 400 ventilators?
That hospital view is not even from New York. It is from a previous article in Sky News from Australia in Italy. I looked up the article, and that is fact.
A fake event. They fake the news.
Right here. Pay
Fake the
attention,
reality,
you guys.
and
Get this
broadcasted
out.
that
Pay attention.
to
This
all of
is
their
an
audience
insider.
last Friday
They caught
on
this on
CBS.
camera. Pay attention. Absolutely.
Well, we knew they were coming. We had no clue that we were going to have to, like, do fake patients.
Fake patients. Fake patients for CBS.
Yes, just was just to make it look busy for the news because they were right there.
A Manitoba emergency room nurse says her hospital is drowning and desperate for help in the face of a flood of COVID-19 patients that is pushing staff and capacity to the brink. It has been completely and absolutely overwhelming, said Sarah Neufeld, who works at Bethesda Regional Health Center in
And these are
Steinbach,
also
Manitoba.
things that you
We
guys
don't
can be
just have a
doing.
full
If you
waiting
live
room.
in these
We have a full
areas
waiting room
where
and
they
a full
say these
emergency
things
room
are happening
of very
at,
sick and
go
sometimes
and prove
rapidly
them wrong.
declining patients that
Go
require a
and
lot of
physically
one-on-one
prove them
care.
wrong in
Nursing
real
that
time.
we cannot
These are the
safely
things
give.
that you can do
Oh
on
my
a
God,
local
it really
level.
is time to
In addition to
panic.
protests
I'll read some more.
and holding
COVID-19
events,
patients
you
rushed
can
to the
do
hospital
things
by
as
ambulance
simple
are
as
sometimes
this.
forced to wait for
Go and
hours
fact check
in
these
the ambulance
guys
bay with EMS care
yourself.
before a bed is available for them, she said. More stable patients are asked to come in, get triaged, and return to their vehicles to wait, sometimes for hours, Neufeld added. Sounds like a war zone, really. Sounds perfect for the largest news gathering organization in Canada with thousands of staff. I mean, why not, go to report it rather than just quote a union leader or something? Well, here's why.
Debunking the lies. Where's the overflowing? Good day.
This is the union leader for these nurses at this hospital.
There's nobody.
The parking lot is empty. This is the one that you were just hearing in this article that was supposedly packed and overflowing, waiting on beds for hours. The parking lot is empty.
I share some caution on this because we just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's
Wake up,
DNA
everybody.
Just to clear up one point, I mean, my understanding is that these vaccines do not modify your DNA or RNA. So I think that's just an important point to clarify.
Because the government doesn't want to show that the darn vaccine is full of shit.
Tell us about who this person is.
Dr. Gonzalez is one of our emergency room doctors at Phoenix Indian Medical Center.
If you guys don't pay attention to Project Veritas, you definitely need to be. You definitely need to be because they are leading the charge on the front line and getting this information from the people on the inside, encouraging people to speak up against all these atrocities.
They're not going to blame the vaccine. Well, and you know what? But he has an obligation to report that, doesn't he? They are not reporting. Right. Because they want to shove it under the mat.
So what are we looking at here?
You're looking at me transferring her to a higher level of care that could handle her condition.
And this is a colleague at your hospital who got sick.
She didn't want to take it because of her religious beliefs. And she was coerced into taking it.
And if you prevent them from getting sick, you will ultimately prevent them from getting seriously ill.
Some of you might recognize me from my initial post on Instagram.
Pay attention to these people.
I've been hiding.
These are the most important parts of this video.
What this has done to me.
Pay attention to what has happened to these people.
But I'm done hiding.
Show this.
And I'm done being
to
scared.
people you know that want to take this.
There are several stories like mine.
Tell them to stop.
The same doctors who told us this was safe
to deal
the same
with
doctors
this insanity.
brushing us off, as if we didn't matter.
This
Best
is
friend's
us.
daughter got the Pfizer shot.
We are free, sovereign,
after the
and
first
independent
shot, she
people of
passed
this
out
world, and we
when
cannot
unconscious
let
for
this
15
happen
minutes
to
and
our
had a heart attack.
population.
2 months later, she's having heart problems. She's 12.
You have
She's
this amazing
12.
vaccine and more data
12
coming out
years
this
old.
morning from real world use.
Have you taken the vaccine, sir?
No, I haven't taken it yet.
So my daughter
CEO of Pfizer has not
contacted
taken
me
it.
from school, very upset that one of her friends is now in critical care in the hospital here in Halifax because her heart stopped right after she had a vaccine. She's not well right now. She can't breathe. Her heart keeps stopping. She's 13 years old.
Rapper
And
Juvenile
you
has
tell
remixed
me
one of his most
I'm going to talk
popular
over this
songs
ridiculous
to help
idiot
encourage people to get
juvenile.
a COVID-19
You
vaccine.
tell me
Do you feel like
about
you're made aware of
instantaneous
this
death.
beforehand?
The heart stopping of a 13-year-old child.
Or have been for the past 3 months. I ended up taking the Pfizer vaccine 3 weeks ago.
January the 4th was very pressured by my employer to get the vaccine.
There was one day where I had 16
They are
back-to-back
responsible for this.
convulsions.
They are. We are guinea pigs to them.
Fox 26 reporter Ivory Hecker is live in Montgomery County to take a look at that aspect.
Thanks, guys. That's right.
And I
Before we get
praise
to
these
that story, I want to let
reporter
you,
patriots
the
so much.
viewers, know
I
that Fox
praise
Corp
them.
has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers. And from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. Fox came at my throat for standing up against censorship.
In my opinion, you failed as a reporter.
From the inside, yes, there's a narrative. Yes, it is unspoken, but if you accidentally step outside the narrative, if you don't sense what that narrative is and go with it, there will be grave consequences for you.
Listen to these reporters
It's about what our GM reads.
My
from
question
the
is very simple.
inside
Why
of
are
these
you doing
news
this?
organizations.
It
You go
affects the
along
viewers,
with the
that's why I'm doing
agenda.
this.
Let's
The
get this
viewers
pushed up, you
are
guys.
being
Let's get people in here.
Showers
Let's get
moving
these
in
people
around
seeing
8
this.
a.m.
Let's
And
break
speaking of a brand new week, I will
Facebook's
be sitting
algorithm
down this week
and
with
get
Convict
this video
Veritas to discuss
pushed up into the watch
determination
list so
that CPS
everybody
is
can
enforcing
see
upon
this.
its employees.
I'm watching my country disintegrate. And if I don't stand up and do something when I'm
A
able
meteorologist
to, you know,
has nothing
I
to
just
do
don't
with
know that I could
news
live with myself.
on the
There
streets.
have
A
been
meteorologist
stories that CBS has run that
stood
were
up
proven to be
and
fake.
exposed what was
One of
going
those
on.
stories that Project Veritas actually witnessed here.
Cherry Health now admitting that staffers were in the line of cars presented to the CBS network.
We are supposed to be the people
In
that
Michigan.
bring light to
In
corruption.
Michigan,
Fully received
Detroit,
the J&J
Michigan.
COVID-19 vaccine Saturday
Faking
afternoon,
news reports,
the day
having
before he
staffers
died.
get in their
Evan's
cars
obituary
and line
says
up
she
like
died
people are
Wednesday
lining
from a
up
reaction
for
to
this
COVID
vaccine.
His dad died 4 days after getting
You've
his
got
second
to
shot
wake
of
people
Pfizer
up to this.
vaccine.
If
The
you are
Detroit
watching
media
this
icon
and you
was
know
found
the
dead at her
truth,
home last
you've
Tuesday
got
by her
to
husband
help
just 1
us
day after
wake
taking the
people up to
COVID-19
this.
vaccine.
And in Orange
We've
County,
got
an
to
X-ray
unite
technician has died
against
after
these
getting
people.
his second dose
We've
of
got
the
to
Pfizer
unite against these
vaccine.
globalists and their
Woke up,
agenda.
And I was like, I can't move my arms, I can't move my legs.
The hardest thing was I let him get that shot.
I'm afraid of dying. You know what else? I'm afraid of you killing me with your mutated germ.
You want to hang out with us? Get your vaccine.
We have the vaccines. We can see the end will come for this pandemic.
Let's just get as many people vaccinated as we possibly can, as quickly as we can.
As many as you can, as quickly as you can.
Corporate values
Super fix.
are above
That's the itinerary.
the
Super
viewer's
fix.
interests.
As many as
Journalism
you
is
can.
so important.
Doesn't
If
matter
you look
that
at
you got
history,
12, 13-year-olds
it
dying of
is
heart
so
attacks.
important
Give it to them anyway.
to go after the stories that
If you guys can't
that your
tell, I'm
viewers are craving
slightly
answers
fired up
to
today,
keep
and
that loyalty
tonight's
to the
episode
viewers
with
and to the
Christina
truth.
Caramo is going to be
And if you allow
fantastic
yourself
because of it.
to be guided through a corporate narrative, to be used as a tool of corporate narrative, corporate news propaganda, whatever you want to call it, then you may very well be contributing to the problems that begin to develop in a society that develops a censored press.
I'm going to pause this here so you guys are able to read this while I speak about it. This was a writer, a chief writer from the New York Times, 1860 to 1870. We have to realize that this is not something new. This is just another tidbit of the overall plan. They want us divided so that we don't pay attention to what's going on. We're paying attention to if it ain't bathrooms we're paying attention to, it's Coca-Cola, it's race in general. Like this man states, John Swinton states in this right here, we have got to put all these things. I don't care if you make $100,000 and you stand next to a man that makes $10,000 a year. If we stand arm in arm against these globalists, against these people that want to destroy our world, there's nothing they can do. It takes us. And that's why we're losing. So you can talk about it all day. You can complain about it all day. It takes courage and effort to stand up against it. And that's what we have to find in ourselves now. It takes all of us to be strong and to stand up and say, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to do what you tell us to do anymore. We're going to live our own lives. We're going to do what makes us happy. We're going to love our fellow neighbors. We're going to stand together because we know what we want in life, and it ain't what you're offering. We don't want your plan. We like our country, and we love our world the way it is. Sure, it's got its flaws. Everything does. Nothing's perfect in this world. It's up to all of us, you guys. It takes all of us to make a true change. Hashtags, rallies, events, awareness, it's all great. It's all fantastic. I love seeing people involved, no matter what it is. I love seeing it. But we have to get out there. We have to make sure that they know who we are. If you're one of those people that are sitting back and thinking that the world is just going to fix itself and to stay to the plan, that's not right. That's not the way to do this. We stand tall. We get out there. We show them in numbers that we're not going to take this anymore, that we're not going to stand for this tyranny worldwide anymore. You have thousands of people in France and Greece and Croatia that are gathering in the streets. That's why Croatia said that their vaccination rate is fine, because they got sick of people rioting in the streets. Now, I would never call the violence ever with anything, ever. It's not the way to ever solve anything, but numbers are. The bottom of our state, I've noticed, is a lot of mess. And here in the northern part, I wanted to add this because I see a lot of this in my own area, and I know it continues on into the conservative area around me as well. You have to stand up too. I feel the same energy that you all do. Our lives, and anybody's life, just because you're not affected right now, don't think that they're not coming for you too. Because they are. Nobody is safe from this. Nobody. And it takes all of us to make this stop. Not just our country, but in our world. I will see you guys later tonight. 8 o'clock sharp. Christina Caramo will be joining us, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I've been wanting to have her on for quite some time. If you guys, my locals is getting there. If you guys want to go over there and follow me on there, like I stated before, as soon as I gather everything properly, there will be a mass exodus from Facebook. Once I figure out the setup of going live and everything, and not being able to use Streamlabs, finding something else, there will be a mass exodus, and I encourage everybody to do the same. We don't want to contribute to the mess that is occurring right now. We don't want to contribute to the tyranny and to the censorship. So until then, we'll remain here. We'll remain on YouTube for the uploads after the lives are finished. And if you guys at all ever want to give a little extra love and support, the Cash App is up at the top of the screen. Never expect it from anybody, but it's always nice and warms my heart when I hear the Cash App go off, because it lets me know that people encourage me, that people believe in what we're doing and what's going on and what we're fighting for. Clicks, likes, shares are always fantastic as well. I love every day that I get on here, I get on my page and I see new followers and I see new likes and I see new shares. It's just absolutely amazing to me, because this started with nothing but a dream to be able to bring you guys everything that you need to be able to live your lives and to be able to be free in our country. So I will see you guys tonight. And it's like I always tell you guys, when you're out there, whether you're doing research or whether you're fighting the good fight, stay safe and stay informed.